What if your cat doesn't actually want more toys, more treats, or even more cuddles? What if the things they value most are much quieter? A safe place, a predictable human, someone who listens when they say enough, someone who understands that when a cat walks away, it isn't always rejection. Cats experience love differently from us, and throughout their lives, there are 7 things they may quietly hope to receive from the person they trust most. The first is simple: safety. For a cat, feeling safe isn't just about having food and shelter. It's about knowing what to expect. A calm voice, a familiar environment, a routine that doesn't constantly change. Cats are naturally alert animals. Their ancestors survived by noticing small changes in their surroundings. Even domestic cats still carry some of that instinct. So when your cat can sleep deeply in the same room as you, something important is happening. They have learned that you are not a threat. And that leads to the second act of love: patience. Cats don't always trust people immediately. Some approach quickly. Others need days, weeks, or even months. The mistake many humans make is trying to speed up that process. But trust doesn't grow because you demand it. It grows because you repeatedly prove that you're safe. Letting your cat approach you. Waiting instead of grabbing them. Giving them space when they retreat. These tiny decisions teach a powerful lesson. You have control over what happens to you here. And strangely enough, giving a cat that freedom can make them more willing to come closer. The third act is learning their language. Your cat may not speak, but they are constantly communicating. A slow blink can happen during a relaxed interaction. A cat following you from room to room can show social interest. Sitting nearby without touching you can still be companionship. Even a paw gently resting on your arm can be meaningful. But here's the important part. There is no universal cat dictionary. The same behavior can mean different things depending on the situation. Your job isn't to memorize one secret meaning. It's to learn your cat. When you recognize their signals, you're doing something surprisingly intimate. You're telling them, "I notice you." And that brings us to the fourth act: respecting their boundaries. This may be one of the most important forms of love a cat can receive. Humans often think affection means more touching, more petting, more cuddling. But cats don't necessarily see it that way. Some love long strokes. Others prefer a few scratches around the cheeks or chin. Some dislike having their stomach touched completely. And sometimes, a cat that was enjoying your attention suddenly moves away. That's not necessarily an insult. It may simply mean they've had enough. Respecting that moment teaches your cat that they don't have to defend themselves to be heard. And a cat that feels heard can become more comfortable around you. The fifth act is giving them a chance to be a cat. This is where play becomes much more important than people realize. When a cat stalks a toy, chases it, climbs, scratches, or investigates something new, they're not simply entertaining themselves. They're expressing behaviors connected to their natural instincts. Cats are predators. Even a cat that has never hunted for food still carries many of those behavioral patterns. So enrichment matters. A scratching surface, a place to climb, something interesting to investigate, interactive play. These aren't luxuries. They're opportunities for your cat to express parts of themselves that existed long before they lived beside humans. The sixth act is consistency. Your cat may not understand your calendar, but they understand patterns. They learn when you usually wake up, when food appears, when you come home. That predictability can create a sense of security. And over time, your presence itself can become familiar. That's why some cats follow their humans around the house without demanding anything. They may simply want to know where their trusted person is. And sometimes companionship doesn't look like cuddling. It looks like your cat sleeping across the room while you work, or sitting beside you without touching, or quietly entering the room because you are there. The seventh act of love is noticing. This one is easy to underestimate. You know your cat's normal behavior. You know how they usually walk, how they eat, how they greet you. So when something changes, you may notice it before anyone else. A cat suddenly hiding more, eating differently, grooming less, avoiding touch, becoming unusually aggressive or unusually quiet. Sometimes these changes are behavioral. Sometimes they're caused by stress. And sometimes they can be signs that something is physically wrong. Paying attention doesn't mean becoming paranoid. It means knowing your cat well enough to notice when something isn't right. And when you put all 7 acts together, something becomes clear. Cats may not measure love the way humans do. They may not need grand gestures. For them, love can look like safety, patience, being understood, and having boundaries respected. Having opportunities to explore and play, knowing what to expect, and having someone who notices when they aren't themselves. The most powerful bond with a cat isn't built through one dramatic moment. It's built through hundreds of ordinary ones. The food bowl appearing when expected. The door opening when they want to explore. The hand that stops when they say enough. The person who sits quietly beside them. The familiar voice they recognize. The safe place they return to. And maybe that's why a cat choosing to sleep beside you, follow you, greet you, or gently place a paw against you can feel so meaningful. Because they aren't simply existing in the same house. They're choosing, in their own quiet way, to share their world with you. A cat may not understand every word you say, but they can learn what your presence means. And perhaps the greatest act of love isn't making your cat love you more. It's creating a life where they feel safe enough to be completely themselves. Because when a cat trusts you enough to simply relax beside you, that isn't just companionship. It's their quiet way of saying, I feel safe here.